this is Dr. Tiffany Lamond from Lamond Wellness, and today's video I am going to be doing an unboxing and a review of a sustainable brand of sneakers that I recently purchased from a company called Allbirds. So I've been looking at these shoes for quite some time now. I'm going to call myself a progressing minimalist, so I don't generally buy things until I need a new pair. So like if my sneakers have worn out, I'll get a new pair. And I've been really looking to see if I can get a more sustainable option that actually has the performance that I'm looking for. Now, normally I do more hiking and trail running, and I can't find an option like that that's a trail shoe, but this is actually the first proper running shoe that this company has made. And originally I was looking for them, and the color that I wanted, which was just black and black, and my size kept selling out. So I decided to get them a little bit earlier than I normally would so that I can try them without them selling out again. So my other sneakers are not quite on the brink of death, but they're getting close. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of talk to you a little bit about why I chose them, and then I'm going to show you them, and then I'm gonna use them and let you know what I think about them. So this company, Allbirds, what they do is they use a lot of really sustainable products. So these are made out of eucalyptus, wool, and I believe it's like sweet gum or sweet foam. The soles are made out of it, and then they're washable. So if you remove the insoles, you can wash the outsides. And so there's a lot of things about that I was really excited to try. And so the other thing that was really neat is this came as is. So the shoe box is the complete packaging. I get really frustrated a lot when I order something and it's like a box inside of a box, or a box inside of a bag, or a box inside of a box inside of a bag, and so on and so forth. So the shoe box is the package, and the shipping label is on the shoe box. So that's the first thing I like. Then just to give you an idea of what I chose a 7.5, and this is the Tree Dasher Obsidian in black, so it's all black. And then when you open it up, I'm just gonna kind of read you their little thing about the Dasher. So it says, makes moves with natural comfort. Thanks to seamless knit upper with reinforced zonal stretch paired with amplified traction and rebound, the Tree Dasher has everything you need to get active without sacrificing style. So here's what it looks like when it comes to you. I think it's pretty cool packaging. You flip this up, shoes inside. So I'm gonna take the shoes out. So this is the shoe, and I have to say, that's a pretty stylish shoe. These were $125. Nobody gifted these to me. I paid for these myself. I wanted to be able to give a really honest review to my patients and people that are watching. And I love that, everything, all of this tells you it's a breeze to wash. So another thing it says, run like the wind, designed for performance, crafted, blah, blah, blah. So a couple of things that I thought was really neat. So they give you 30 days to try them. If you don't like them, you can send them back, and they send gently used shoes to places that need shoes. Like, I think they call it Soles for Souls. So like, for example, I collect shoes every year for Haiti. I've sent out an email to them to ask them if they would partner with my organization that I go with, which is Stand for Haiti. And if they would consider sending some of those Soles for Souls either with me or to our facility for the people who need them for like prosthetic legs or diabetics or people that just don't have shoes that come into the clinic. So maybe they'll partner with them to do that. I haven't gotten a definitive answer on that yet. But anyway, to kind of show you some of the neat features, this right here is wool, which I think is pretty cool. And I'll let you know what I think of it. It's very soft. The insole there's no arch in it, but it's squishy. The outside, I'll put that in later. The outside is this nice knit. So I'll try it on and let you know what I think. And I'll give you some stats about what makes this shoe kind of better than a traditional shoe. So here's some stats that they mention about their shoe. So the standard sneaker emits about 12.5 kilograms of CO2 emissions, where their average shoe submit 7.6 kilograms of CO2. They really want to get to zero. They're not there yet, but they're working on it. So the first thing that they mention is that the fact that they even measure their carbon footprint. And then the next thing is that they mentioned that they offset their carbon footprint. Their goal is to become a carbon net zero company, but currently whatever carbon emissions they produce, they offset them. And then they even go so far as to give examples. So like they give an example of their carbon emissions is about driving 19 miles in a car or making 22 chocolate bars, which I think is a really funny example. So for those of you who are interested in terms of the millimeters of drop, this is a 7mm drop shoe, which is kind of a middle of the road drop shoe. So I've worn everything from as high as a 12mm drop to a 0 drop shoe and everything in between. So I'll let you know what I think of a 7mm drop. And essentially, for those of you who don't know what that means, that's how many millimeters of drop there is from the heel to the forefoot. So a 0 drop shoe is the same as standing barefoot on the ground, and some shoes go as high as a 12mm drop, which is wearing like a centimeter plus a teeny bit, little teeny tiny high heel back to front. So that's another video for another day, why you would maybe choose one that's higher or lower and so on. And then this is considered a neutral light stability shoe. Another thing is they spent a year with 50 or more amateur and pro athletes testing the product, which I think is pretty cool for a small company. And so this upper is a seamless knit, and it's made out of eucalyptus trees. The midsole is made out of sugarcane, and this is actually a carbon negative midsole, which is super cool. And let's see what it says. They call it a dual density sweet foam. So if you were to touch it, like this part is different than this part. This feels, I'm sorry, you couldn't see that. This part feels different than this part. This part feels more tractioned, and this feels more slick. But it's, if you look at it, it's pretty, there's not a divot where the arch would be. And this I think is really cool. Like I said, this is wool, and this is supposed to kind of help lock your foot in place. And then this upper, it's kind of like a, oh, sorry, I did it again. So there's the wool, and then this upper is kind of like a sock liner. And I'm seeing a lot of sneakers with this recently, which for some of my patients might end up being really nice, because one of the big complaints of my patients who have had, say, like foot surgery is that they find this area right here to rub and be very irritating. I don't know if this will be better or not, but I'll let you know after I try it. And then this heel is how they've decided this increases the stability. I guess that's why they call it, a mild stability shoe or low stability shoe, the way it flares out in the back. I haven't even tried it on yet, so I don't know what I think about it, but I'll let you know what I think about it when I go and use it. So the other thing, I think these look like little Cheerios, but what they've done is they've sewn the eyelets directly into the shoe. And for those of you that don't know this, a lot of times, we used to tell people years ago to wear high top shoes for ankle stability. Turns out that doesn't actually really provide ankle stability. It's more the last of the shoe that creates that. So I would imagine this has the potential to create that stability, but again, I will let you know. And lastly, I had to look it up. This is actually made out of castor bean oil. Oh yeah, it says right there, made with castor bean oil. Although that for you guys, I think that's gonna be backwards. Can't change that. But so they've got eucalyptus, wool, sugarcane, and castor bean oil are the primary ingredients for making this shoe. As far as the reviews are on their own website, they're 4.9 out of 5 stars, which that's a pretty good review. So I'm going to give them a go. I'm going to go try them out, and I'm going to let you know what I think. So I'm not one of those fancy YouTubers that has everyone helping them. So I'm going to try and do this with one hand. But anyway, I'm going to tell you what I think when I first put it on. And I sometimes am in between sneaker sizes. So sometimes I'm a 7.5, sometimes an 8. I chose these in this 7.5, and we'll see how that goes. So for those of you who don't know this, in general, you want to have like a full finger between your toe and the end. And I do. These, I would say, probably fit pretty good. Oh, they're super comfy. So my initial instinct so far is that they're really comfortable, and I'm gonna go give them a little test. Hopefully this won't be too bouncy, but I'm gonna try these out on a couple different surfaces. I'm gonna try them out on asphalt, grass, and then like a trail, because I spend most of my time doing trail running, and I don't know how, because this is definitely designed more to be a street sneaker. I don't know how it's gonna do on a trail. Okay guys, I'm an outdoorsy girl, but if you want to see me turn into a screaming little sissy, that what just happened will make me squeal like a little girl. Some big, crazy looking spotted spider came down from the sunroof of my car, came across my face, it almost touched my face, landed on my shirt. I started swatting it away, it landed on my thigh, almost ran off the dang road, and then it was on the ground and I had to drive. And I didn't know where it was. I was freaked out, I'm not gonna lie. So the thing about that is it might as well be a black widow every time that happens, because one, you can't tell what it is, and two, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared of spiders. Same thing with like snakes. I don't mind snakes, I can touch a snake and yada yada, as long as it doesn't like jump up on me, like surprise me. Okay, so let's talk about the shoes. So first of all, they're really comfortable, super comfortable, like really squishy. The toe box is excellent. I don't feel anything squishing my toes, and it's a pretty good anatomical shape. So like one of the things I don't like about a lot of sneakers, oh yeah, you guys hate it when I walk. Sorry. That I don't like about a lot of sneakers is that the medial or the middle side angles in, and it creates a point in the front. And the point, as long as the middle side doesn't angle in, it can be comfortable for your toes. But once it turns into like that stiletto shape and it pulls the big toe toward the middle of the foot, it's not comfortable. So this one has like a semi-pointed front. It's semi-pointed and rounded, but it doesn't pull the big toe in. So that's really good. The next thing that I would say is the mesh is super, super comfortable. And that ankle bit, also super comfortable. I would say, I think that the thing that I maybe don't know that I totally love is I might prefer a slightly lower drop, like a 4 mil drop. And the bit on the back that's made for stability initially feels a little bit odd. So I'm gonna have to go a little further and see what I think about it. But otherwise, the shoes are really, really comfortable. So I'm specifically going over some of these rocky sections and like really kind of jamming my feet into them to see how it feels. And so far, I can feel that there's rocks under there, but it is not at all painful. Okay, I'm gonna be a little bit winded on this one because I just ran a bit. So the first thing I would tell you is this is not a super technical trail. This one's not a lot of big rocks or gravel or big tree roots. It is dirt, but it's not super technical. And I would say I definitely feel stable running in these shoes on this type of terrain. I would need to try it on, say, near my house is one called Sawney Mountain. It's very rocky, and see if it feels good there. And if the foot, so another thing I look for in trail shoes is some trail shoes have a more rigid structure inside to protect you from rocks. I don't generally feel like I need that, but I would have to see how that feels on a more rugged terrain. Okay, you're not gonna believe this. I'm having the most unlucky day. I just ran into another spider web and had another spider on my face. What the heck? Normally when you go on a trail at this time of day, someone else has already done the silk blazing, and silk blazing is like the first person of the day who goes through and like tears down all the spider webs with their face. I didn't think I was gonna be silk blazing at freaking 9:30, 10 in the morning. Should have been other people here doing that for me. Another thing that I think could be really cool about this shoe is that I prefer to wear socks when I wear sneakers. When I was younger, I would wear all my sneakers barefoot, but these I think you could definitely wear barefoot. And the fact that they're washable would maybe be a huge thing so that they don't smell really bad for a lot of people, or that they could be refreshed. I don't think you can wash the insoles. I think you need to remove the insoles and wash the shoe, and I'm sure it's like on a delicate cycle and air dry. I'll have to look into that for sure. But this is the kind of shoe that I think could actually be really comfortable without a sock. Now, the company does make like a special sock that they have designed specifically for the sneaker, but I'm not wearing those. I'm just wearing a regular ankle sock. Another thing that I would mention specifically that I think is appealing to my feet in particular, I have very wide forefoot and very narrow heels. So my feet are kind of shaped like duck bills. These are really comfortable because often if shoes are wide enough for me in the front, in the back, my feet will piston up and down, like they won't be held in, and I feel really secure in these. And I really like that wool piece because it's not digging into my Achilles, but it feels like it's holding my heel. And that's another complaint I hear a lot. It either rubs at where people have what's called a pump bump, or it's like leaning in and digging into the Achilles, and I don't feel any of that. Okay, peeps, it's getting hot here. It's Georgia, it's August, it's the middle of the day. So you better appreciate this review. So now I'm testing the grass. It's actually kind of wet, like dewy. Trying to see if it's slippery. Maybe a little, but it's pretty good. And then I'm kind of headed back to my car from the trail, and we're gonna see how the cement. So I'm gonna take a quick jog around some of the cement and I'll let you know. Okay, they're good. They're good on all the surfaces that I tried. I don't think they're designed for trail, but I think they'll work for mild trails. Definitely good for road. Yeah, really like these shoes. This is the little bitty spider that I freaked out about. He's still in my car. I gotta flick him outside. My initial thoughts are I definitely would buy these again. I would actually highly recommend these to people who want to give them a try. I love the idea that they're an ethical and sustainable company. I'm really trying to do more and more of that and support companies that, you know, align with my values. You know, every time we buy something, it's a vote. We're casting a vote about what we will and will not tolerate and what we value. And I'm seeing more and more influence of that. And I think it's great that there are companies out there that are really trying to make efforts and gains in this regard. So I would also tell you, as always, this is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and this is a completely honest review. I have in no way been incentivized. I have not been gifted anything or even a discount. I paid full price for these, so this review is without any bias whatsoever.